I'm Elaine Penhaul, founder of Lemon and Lime. We specialise in getting properties ready for sale so that all of our clients can achieve the highest possible offer for their home in the shortest possible time. There are a series of questions that I get asked very frequently, and we've decided to put together some short video clips to help answer those. I'm sure you'll have more questions when you've watched these. Please feel free to get in touch either by phone or by email.
Elaine, when I'm talking to people about putting their house on the market and staging their home to really maximize the value, some of the concerns that they have is they want to get to the market very quickly and they were concerned about how much it's going to cost. What would you say to these people?
I think it's inevitable that if you're putting to somebody that's selling their home something that is perceived as an additional cost and an additional time delay, such as staging, that they will have concerns about it. I think that's completely normal. My advice to any estate agent that is bringing a house to market that they believe needs some help with presentation, whether it needs additional furniture or whether it simply needs some styling help, perhaps some decluttering, or even a little bit of decorating before it comes onto the market, then there's a conversation that focuses around investment as opposed to cost. And secondly, we always ask the estate agents that we work with, and we've had the conversation many times, don't try and sell the staging service. Introduce the stager who will then come in and talk about the potential costs and the timeline for doing the staging beforehand, because it's much easier to do it from a point of expertise. And you're so as an estate agent, you're bringing in another expert, which is always a good thing, isn't it? We bring in experts into our network. When I see a property and it clearly needs some help with presentation, then I will generally explain that the timeline to get a property prepared for market using staging, even if we have to fully furnish a house, is generally from acceptance of quote to delivery is 2 weeks. So it's a very small delay, because by the time the estate agent has done all the paperwork, the compliance, the anti-money laundering, prepared the brochure, teed up the photographer to go in the minute that the house is ready, and the videographer, and started to do a coming soon video. And I know you do those, but the coming soon things on social media and so on. All of that is happening in the background while the house is getting staged, whether that's decluttering and styling, or whether it's bringing in a whole house full of furniture. So the timeline is generally about 2 weeks. The cost of it is a little bit more difficult, because the cost is dependent on what needs doing, what the floor area of the property is, and then what the value of the property is. So what needs doing will determine the time that it's going to, that somebody is buying essentially from the staging business. And if it's a lot of decluttering, then that can be anything, decluttering and styling. We would say allow for something between 0.25% and 0.5% of whatever the guide price is. So on a £500,000 house, then you're allowing for about something around 2,500, but it might be as little as 1,500, 1.25. So you're not allowing a huge amount of money into that. If it's something like if it's something that's 500,000 and it's a floor plan of maybe 2,000 square foot, which is a fairly normal 3, maybe even 4-bedroomed house, then we would suggest that the cost of that for fully furnishing is somewhere around 1% or maybe 1.25%. So you're looking at about £5,000 up to about £7,500 or £8,000, something in that scale for a 2,000 square foot property. And that for us, that's giving the whole service. So you create a package of furniture that is perfect for that house. So it's the furniture, it's all the accessories, it's all the artwork, it's all the delivery collection, so on, and it gets the house looking wow. And somebody's going to walk in and they're going to put more money on the table than they would originally have offered, for all the reasons that that staging just makes it look amazing. So cost somewhere between 0.25% up to about 1.5%, depending on what needs doing. And timeline, 2 weeks from acceptance of quote to actual installation as a maximum.
So estate agents and sellers should be seeing it far more as an investment rather than an expense, to make sure that they A, get the right buyer, B, get the best price they can, and C, work in a time frame that suits them.
Staging is always about investment. And we know from the many case studies that we've got that that the return on the investment, and it's an amazing return on investment. You know, when you consider how little return on investment you get, if you put money in the bank or onto the stock market at the moment, then it's, you know, it's just as likely to go down as it is to go up right now. In general, in staging terms, what we see is that the return on investment is somewhere between 1,000 and 10,000%. And that happens within within weeks. So you're not waiting for a year or 5 years or something. So if you're spending, for example, £5,000 on staging, then on average, then you can expect to see the property selling for something in the region of £50,000 more than it would have done without the staging. We've got case studies. We've got a very good one that we did last year that was lived in, dramatic in the amount of decluttering and so on that it needed. The pre-staging valuation on it was 900,000. So it was a fairly, you know, it was a very nice house, but it was not looked after. The pre-staging valuation was 900,000. The staging investment in total, including some new carpets and so on, was about £12,000. And they realised £1,050,000 within 7 days of marketing when it was sold. So that's investment, and that's very quick investment. Hope you found that helpful. If you'd like some more information, please feel free to get in touch. Follow us on our social media channels, pick up the phone, or pop me an email.